If you guys are trying to take your training to the next level and you want to increase your speed, your power, your conditioning, then you got to check out Phil Daru's 8-week heavy hitter boxing program. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no joke.
Hi, it's Minnie. You're watching Don Shea Boxing Nation.
And he gets around that left shoulder, that left elbow of his opponents. We are yet to see it tonight successfully.
You take that away, he's ordinary. And that's exactly what this young man is doing. He's taking that angle away from Lomachenko.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Mikey Garcia, he gave his take on Lomachenko losing to Teofimo Lopez. And going into the fight, Mikey Garcia, he gave Teo a really good chance to win the fight. Mikey, he said, I felt that Lopez had a good chance of winning. The way I saw the fight coming around, I've been seeing Lomachenko work great angles, but he's always been able to show that against weaker opposition and smaller fighters. The moment he stepped up against Linares, he had a little bit of difficulties with Linares with his experience, and he's a terrific fighter. I felt if other guys were able to hit Lomachenko, tag him up, get him bruised up, then Teo, being the younger, bigger, stronger guy, he should definitely have a chance, end quote. For those of you guys who don't know, Mikey Garcia, he was calling out Lomachenko aggressively. And Lomachenko, he did not want the fight. He turned the fight down. Manny Pacquiao is another fighter who was pushing for a Lomachenko fight. Lomachenko turned that fight down as well. What both of those fighters have in common is not only are they extremely talented and gifted, but they're also naturally bigger than Lomachenko. I'll start with Manny Pacquiao. If Lomachenko would have fought Manny Pacquiao, that would have catapulted Lomachenko into superstar status. That's how Manny Pacquiao became a superstar, when he beat Oscar De La Hoya. But I would have to agree with Mikey Garcia. Now, since we've seen how Loma has struggled since he's moved up to 135, he would have had all the problems in the world against a naturally bigger Manny Pacquiao. And I don't see him beating Mikey Garcia at all. I mean, Manny Pacquiao probably would have beat him as well, but because of Manny Pacquiao's lack of defense, I would at least give Loma a better chance in that fight. Guys, this is the main reason why Terence Crawford was always pound for pound number one over Vasyl Lomachenko. And a lot of people forget this, but there was a time when even Lomachenko was telling the public that he believed Terence Crawford was pound for pound number one, the best fighter. What separates Crawford from Lomachenko is the fact that both fighters moved up, but Terence Crawford remained dominant. He continued to unify belts, fighting all of the champions. He was fighting against numerous undefeated champions. When he fought against Victor Postal, people thought that Crawford was going to duck Postal. In fact, they were accusing Terence of ducking Postal. He dominated him. Then they said he was ducking Felix Diaz, the Colombian gold medalist, who was a beast. He knocked him out, stopped him. Then he moved up to welterweight, knocked out two undefeated welterweight fighters, Jose Benavidez and Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn, the man that beat Manny Pacquiao. What makes the Terence Crawford win over Jeff Horn so impressive is the fact that Manny Pacquiao struggled against Jeff Horn. But Terence Crawford beat him easy. And keep in mind, Manny Pacquiao struggled to Jeff Horn, but he beat Adrian Broner and he beat Keith Thurman in a more convincing fashion. Those fights weren't even that close compared to the Jeff Horn fight. Because with the Jeff Horn fight with Manny Pacquiao, even if you want to say, oh, Manny Pacquiao got robbed, etc., you still have to ask the question, why was that fight so difficult for him? And why wasn't that same fight difficult for Terence Crawford? I mean, guys, can you imagine if Lomachenko had to fight an opponent like Jeff Horn? Some guy who's so much physically bigger and stronger, who's always imposing his size on you, all over you like a cheap suit. I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of the way Orlando Salido fought and beat Lomachenko. All over him, not giving Loma a moment to think in the ring. So once again, Mikey, he says that Lomachenko's career is based on him fighting weaker and smaller opponents. Now, there's no doubt about it, Gary Russell and Guillermo Rigo, those are two of his most biggest signature wins, and they were smaller opponents. but you got to give him credit for the win over Nicholas Walters. That was a fight where actually Lomachenko had moved up in weight. You guys have to remember though, because a lot of people don't know this, Lomachenko, he actually fought in the amateurs at 132. So 130 and 135 is closer to his natural weight. But he just got spoiled. He got used to fighting smaller guys. Now, to me, when it comes to Gary Russell wasn't really that much smaller than Lomachenko. He was just a lot shorter than Loma. And you guys have always heard me say, Lomachenko does really well against much shorter fighters. He does really well against much shorter fighters. But when it comes to Rigo was definitely the smaller fighter. And the reason why we know it's a little bit of an exception when we're talking about small fighters in this situation is because when Rigo moved up, he moved up 2 weight classes. But after he lost to Loma, he went back down 2 weight classes. See, when it comes to fighters like Mikey Garcia, he moved up to 147, and now he's still fighting at 147. So that means he wasn't too small for the weight. That means Rigo was too small for the weight. So now Loma's record is 14-2. Now Loma is still young. He can still do some great things in boxing, but it won't be easy because there's nothing but killers from 130 to 135. If he goes down to 130, you got Shakur Stevenson issues. You got Gervonta Tank Davis. At 135, you got Ryan Garcia. You got Devin Haney. So there's no easy fights. There's no easy fights for Loma. But if he could beat any of those guys, that would be a very impressive bounce back from his last loss. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. What's going on, guys? You know, I've always wanted to find a second source of income. And I've always wanted to learn about stocks and trades because I've heard so much good stuff about it. So I finally found a way to do it. And now I'm learning from 6, 7, 8-figure traders. So not only am I learning from them, but the most important thing is I get to copy their trade. So I get to earn while I learn. Now, if you want the full details, click on the link below so you can learn while you copy and paste their trades. And just understand this, guys, just by watching the video, you're doing a great job of supporting my channel, and I appreciate it. And the craziest thing about doing this trading is you can do it anywhere. All you need is an internet connection, and you can do it just with your phone. So if you want to learn how to make a second income alongside me without having to pitch, sell, or recruit, go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll see you inside.